Suppose now that the European Union, in light of the fact that they know that Airbus is not going to invest, decides to provide um, Airbus with a production subsidy. So, independently than what Boeing does, the European Union will pay an amount of 10 to Airbus whenever Airbus decides to engage in production. With such subsidy, Airbus decisions will change, and we can see it by how the payoffs change. Now, in the event that Boeing decided to invest in the model, Airbus doesn't have a loss of 5, but now makes a profit of 5. The original situation was a loss of 5. Now, only now, just by producing, Airbus will receive the subsidy of 10 by the government, making their total payoff being minus 5 plus 10 equals to plus 5. Also, if Boeing decided not to produce, Airbus would have a payoff of 110, which is 100 plus 10 of subsidy from investing, and still 0 from not investing because the subsidy is taken only if the Airbus is engaging in production. But so this has a very important change in our game because now Airbus will enter the market no matter what. So Airbus has kind of a credible commitment of entering the market independently of what Boeing does, and this is the impact of the subsidy. So what is Boeing's reaction? If the government in the US does not support Boeing with the subsidies, then Boeing will choose optimally not to invest to avoid the loss coming from sharing the market with Airbus. Because we know Airbus will produce no matter what. So we've seen how now trade policy has significantly changed the payoffs of our game. But is it realistic to think that the US government won't do anything knowing that the European Union government is giving a subsidy to Airbus? It's very unrealistic. In all likelihood, the US government will choose a counter subsidy to help Boeing, which is a domestic producer. And this is going to change again the payoffs of the game. So if we skip ahead to slide 59, we can see that with a subsidy of the same amount by the US government, even if Airbus is committed to invest in the new model, no matter what Boeing does, now Boeing is comparing two situations. The situation in which it invests and Airbus invests, which leads to a profit of 5, and the situation in which it doesn't invest and Airbus does invest, in which the profit for Boeing is 0. So Boeing will choose now to invest in the new model as well as Airbus, and so we will have something that resembles very much the equilibrium in the market for aircrafts in the real world, which is that both producers receive huge subsidies from their respective governments, and as consumers we enjoy to have both 747s and Airbus A380 for commercial aviation. This is an interesting case in which trade policy doesn't have necessarily a negative impact on the welfare of societies, because we can see that consumers can enjoy a larger variety of planes in the market thanks to these subsidies to production. One lesson to keep in mind, though, is that when government engage in these kind of subsidy wars and tariff wars or trade policy wars, the risk is that there could be retaliation that might happen in other sectors where the strategic interaction doesn't play a role, leading to tariffs escalation and trade reduction, which could really lead to potentially large welfare losses. So this is an isolated case, but these are instruments of policy that need to be handled with care as history has taught us and as we've learned in the first week of this course.